my friend Reese was there helping me. Yes, I do have some friends that haven't moved away. I don't see Reese that often, but he lives really close to me. But but I can't always hang out with Reese because he embarrasses me sometimes. Because that's his sense of humor. He just does weird stuff and embarrasses me. He doesn't seem to care, But he doesn't feel embarrassed himself. I don't think I could embarrass him. But he embarrasses me. And Reese said he knew that guy. He's seen him around before. He says, "Oh man, that guy buys all his food at the liquor store, man. Twinkies and all that stuff. No wonder the guy's fat. He lives on a diet of ding dongs and potato chips and Coca-Cola." And and my friend Reese, getting back to stories that embarrass me. I met Reese in metalsmithing. The guy he's such a big hulking guy, He kind of has like that scary biker look. He's very, very, he's just Hulk. He's really built thick. He played football in high school and stuff. And been in a lot of scrapes with the law in his life. I mean, he's got some stories. But anyway, he met him in metalsmithing class, and he's always had a problem with being around people. It gives him, kind of anxiety, and I think he deals with it by sort of doing this running, wisecracking monologue sometimes, or just being really quiet and breaking out into a sweat. But the guy, he's this big, but he does this tiny, tiny, intricate work in silversmithing, with wire. And he makes these earrings and these rings, and he used to work at a dental office, so he could use the equipment to do casting, lost wax casting, and he's quite the artist. He really, really is. I mean, metal jewelry making is his medium. I don't have the patience to work that small. I've done a few pieces where there was some really, really tiny soldering going on, but man, I'm notorious for dropping things. And I can remember, like, I made a bracelet for a woman that I was interested in, and it was a silver bracelet. It was cold forged and had a nice like shape to it, cold forged sterling silver, and I had 3 tiny little citrine cabochons, tiny, tiny ones that I was going to mount in a row, and I've done a few pieces. I'm not going to mount like a faceted diamond or anything. I mean, that's a separate skill in itself. But every decent silversmith should be able to mount a cabochon. And I remember I kept dropping those citrines, and I was doing it in my studio, which is really my garage, and there's all kinds of dust and dirt on the floor and just crap out there. And these citrines hit the concrete and bounce. I remember like being on my hands and knees, just going, ah! And then you have to do this tiny, tiny bezel wire, tiny, tiny. Reese, that's no problem. I'll get to the embarrassing part. I remember once we went to a gem fair, and I don't know why, but this woman, at the time, she still would be, but she was a few years older than me, but she was all right, And anytime a woman's giving me some attention, and kind of, unless she smells bad and is gross or something, I always enjoy it. And so this woman was asking me some questions, and it was about die forming, which uses a hydraulic press to press sheet metal to create different shapes, different forms. And Reese was standing off to the side there with an earshot, and I'm talking to the woman, and I was telling her, where I work, we have a rather large hydraulic press, and and I was saying, yeah, well, and I had access to the shop. I said, if you're interested, I'll give you my card. You can get in contact with me. I can take you out there. You can use the big hydraulic press, the die forming. Most jewelers have a little like 40-ton hand crank, 10-ton hand crank little hydraulic press, if they're going to have it at all. I made my own. Yeah, I have like a 40-ton. I think it goes 40 tons. But it's not electric. The one at the shop, press a button, pumps the fluid through it and works. Do you care? Do you care about... It's what happens when I drink coffee. Tea, I'm a little mellower. Coffee, I just really blabber. Look at this. It's going on 43 minutes. I won't even get to the news. Well, Reese is standing there with an earshot while I was trying to talk to this woman. And he's going, lick your lips, lick your lips. what? Shut the fuck up, man. What are you doing? You know? Lick your lips, of all things. What the hell are you talking about? Later, I still remind him of that story to this day. So this really, really cute girl came up I was selling a scroll saw too. And can't still sell that thing. I didn't make any money at all. It wasn't worth my trouble. But I got some grocery money out of it. Didn't sell any of the camera equipment, didn't sell the darkroom equipment, but I got some inquiries and I got some ideas about different avenues to try. So this really cute girl came up and was asking about she's too young for me, you know, but attractive. Excuse me. Came up, was asking about the scroll saw. I gave her my card, she left, and Reese says, did you notice those tattoos on her arm? And I said, yeah, I noticed some tattoos, but I didn't want to stare at her. He says, I stared at her. And I thought, what the hell, Reese? You know? I mean, I'm talking to her. You're over there staring at her? You know what? You know, I sensed there was a little bit of discomfort, but I sensed it wasn't directed towards me, you know, because she seemed to be engaging with me. And I'm wondering, was she picking up on Reese staring at her over there? Man has no couth. Which is so funny. He has no couth, and yet he does this really, really beautiful, decorative, finely detailed jewelry. You know, talk about a paradox. Well, anyway, I didn't even have time to read the paper today. I got in a really good discussion with Monk. A very active discussion. Started out, we were talking about what was older, the Egyptian pyramids or the South American pyramids. And it turned into this like argument we were having in circles. I mean, I was getting really frustrated. I was raising my voice and everything, and he was like laughing. And but we started talking about Doctor Who, and it wasn't like we were having. I enjoy that with people, that I can have a heated argument, but it doesn't turn into anger, because I never take anything like that personally. I get frustrated, and he didn't seem to be getting as frustrated as me. I won't talk about it because exactly where it was all coming from and going. But basically, I say it moved into an area of philosophy, that it was moving out of an area of science. So, but I did learn one new thing, and he told me about this, is that they used to say, and this is the old theory of relativity days, is that nothing can exceed the speed of light. And that was part of the discussion. It was about theories and science. And I said, no, you know, nothing can go faster than the speed of light. He said, no, they say particles can. And I was like, really? And I was able to get on the computer while we were on the phone. And man, you know, he was right. I hadn't followed up on that. I did know that they were able to slow down the speed of light by passing light. I forgot who it was, some type of medium. I think it was sodium or something, at a really, really, like almost low temperature approaching absolute zero. I forgot, it was some element. Sodium is like a metal and you can't see through that. It was something that's translucent or clear. I can't remember what. So they could actually time and see the light passing through it. And they slowed it down slightly. Not that the human eye could notice the difference or anything, or anything else. Most equipment could measure it. But, you know, they have the really cool stuff and they could measure it. So let's see. Let's look at the headlines on the front page. Parties ignite a financial arms race. Yeah, that was frustrating to me because I'm of two minds. On one hand, I didn't want the Bush tax cuts to remain in place, and people in Obama's own party are upset about that he's brokered a deal with Republicans. But on one hand, by brokering that deal, he was going to get something else that was important to me. So I'm ready to like I don't know whether things are going to work out or not. But if any of you follow politics, and you can guess it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask me in the comments. It's something that's important to me. So, yeah, I'm being self-centered. I'm thinking about my own. What's good for me? Yeah, and then Edward's wife passed away. John Edwards. his ex, I guess soon to be ex-wife, or was his ex-wife. I don't know. Yeah, you know, look, I like John Edwards. At the time, I thought he was the one most likely in the primaries to be able to win, because I just didn't think Obama had a chance. And he was the guy that was the package that, you know, presented himself well, was well spoken, you know, didn't have too much baggage. As it turns out, he had terrible, awful baggage. How could that man, I guess he's like another Bill Clinton, how could he like look into the camera, do all that campaigning, knowing what he was up to? I'm glad they found out before, though, before he was elected. Imagine that happening, coming out after if he were elected. Awful. All right, I've gone on really long. This is one of the longer Fez nights. This will make up for all the Fez nights that I haven't been doing. How's that? And I still, you know, I'll be posting Fez nights intermittently. And some people are getting to where they can post it all in one shot, you know. Monk got that privilege. Real Man got that privilege. But they're ignoring me. Where's the justice? Fez Night, if any channel, my channel, Citizen Kong, should have the unlimited length video. You're like, no. All right, everybody. Have a great week. This is Citizen Kong with Fez Off. If I already use that title, I'll just add something to it. I'll put stars next to it or something. Extra exclamation points. All right, everybody. Have a great week. This is Citizen Kong. Cheers.